Welcome back. So, if you're navigating the crazy world of international healthcare procurement, government tenders, or NGO distribution, you already know that sourcing emergency medical vehicles is, well, it's a high-stakes game. Today, we're bringing you a comprehensive explainer on the Chinese ambulance market. We're going to break down the massive global demand shift and pinpoint exactly what you need to look for, especially when we're talking about advanced medical IoT and negative pressure tech. All right, let's dive right into the data.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, the global shift. Second, the 3 evaluation pillars. Third, the top manufacturers. Fourth, the negative pressure standard. Fifth, OEMs versus modifiers. And finally, a global procurement FAQ.
Okay, Section 1, the global shift, moving beyond cost efficiency.
Now, it is absolutely crucial to understand that the international procurement shift toward China, it's no longer just a budget play. It's a technology play. Sure, cost efficiency is still on the board, obviously, but it's not the sole driver anymore. We're talking rapid, profound advancements here, things like state-of-the-art negative pressure technology, highly adaptable modular designs, and smart medical IoT integration. Buyers are heading to China because the baseline for what a modern ambulance can actually do has fundamentally evolved. It's a whole new ballgame.
Moving on to Section 2, the 3 evaluation pillars, or the metrics that actually matter.
Before you even glance at a specific brand, you need a framework. Every procurement officer absolutely has to evaluate these 3 technical pillars. First up, chassis reliability. Are they building on a Tier 1 chassis like Ford, Iveco, or Mercedes? And do they have authorized modifier status? Super important. Second, medical integration. Can they handle complex setups? We're talking synchronized oxygen and EMI shielding. Because let's be real, you definitely don't want your engine electricals messing with a defibrillator. No way. And third, regulatory compliance. Are they hitting global marks like EN 1789 or ISO 1345? If a builder misses even one of these pillars, just cross them right off your shortlist.
All right, Section 3, top manufacturers, finding your niche. Let's dive into this.
And this brilliantly illustrates the top 5 players. Instead of a slow, generic countdown, let's categorize them by their actual operational strengths so you know exactly who to call. Look at JME Ford. Utilizing the Ford Transit chassis, they are basically the gold standard for ICU and advanced life support. And they're backed by a massive global service network. Down the board, you've got Yutong. They've taken high-end coach manufacturing standards and integrated these wild smart ambulance 5G systems for telemedicine. It's incredible. And in between, you have SIAC Maxis ruling the export market, Chengli offering massive scale for government tenders, and Nanjing Iveco providing the heavy-duty payloads you really need for rural environments.
Let's quickly run through the niche specialists. King Long focuses on incredibly robust suspension systems, perfect for Africa and South America. Jinbai is the pioneer for budget-conscious urban basic life support. Futon delivers these awesome turnkey mobile clinics. Chery gives you agile, compact units, literally perfect for zipping through narrow urban streets. And for the exact opposite of that, you have Babin. Using Mercedes-Benz tech, they build extreme 4x4 and 6x6 off-road trucks for environments that look more like war zones than city streets. Seriously tough stuff.
Let's move to Section 4 and see how this builds. The negative pressure standard, a critical post-pandemic requirement.
So, let's zoom in on the exact technical specs engineers are actively demanding today. Here's your first magic number, -10 to -30 pascals. The medical cabin absolutely must maintain this pressure differential relative to the outside environment. This ensures air only flows in when the doors open, never out. It completely protects the outside world from contamination.
Next up, 20 times. That is the absolute minimum air exchange rate requirement per hour. Because, as we know, stagnant air is dangerous air. The system has to rapidly and constantly cycle the cabin's atmosphere.
And finally, 99.9%. Before any of that air is exhausted out of the vehicle, it has to pass through HEPA filtration that catches 99.9% of 0.3 micron aerosolized pathogens. Look, if a manufacturer's unit doesn't hit these 3 exact numbers, it is simply not a post-pandemic ready vehicle. Period.
Moving right along to Section 5, OEMs versus modifiers, navigating the supply chain.
When sourcing, you are going to hit a crucial fork in the road regarding who actually builds your vehicle. On one side, we have original equipment manufacturers, or OEMs, like JMC. They build the vehicle from the ground up on massive assembly lines. On the flip side, you have specialized modifiers. These guys buy a bare chassis shell and then meticulously install custom medical interiors. So what's the takeaway here? Well, if you need highly specialized layouts, modifiers are going to offer you far more flexibility than those rigid OEM assembly lines.
But wait, here is an exclusive insider tip you're going to want to write down if you go the modifier route. Always ensure the modifier holds an authorized modification certificate directly from the chassis manufacturer. If they don't have this, the literal second they cut into that chassis to install a stretcher mount, you could void the international warranty for the entire vehicle's engine and drivetrain. So protect your investment, guys.
Finally, Section 6, our Global Procurement FAQ, dealing with real-world logistics.
Let's run through a rapid-fire Q&A of the most pressing logistical questions buyers have. First up, the steering wheel question. Can Chinese manufacturers actually produce right-hand drive ambulances for export markets?
The answer is a resounding yes. Major exporters aren't just doing aftermarket conversions. Companies like SAA Maxis, JMC, and Foton actually have dedicated right-hand drive production lines specifically serving markets like the UK, Australia, South Africa, and Thailand.
Okay, next logistical hurdle. What is the typical lead time for a standard fleet procurement of, say, 10 to 20 ambulances?
Generally speaking, you're looking at a 30 to 60-day window. But keep in mind, this is highly dependent on chassis availability and vehicle complexity. A basic life support unit? That's going to roll off the line much faster than a highly complex advanced life support unit. And if you're asking for custom modular box body ambulances, yeah, expect that lead time to extend quite a bit further.
Question 3 is all about longevity. How on earth is the medical equipment serviced if the vehicle is exported halfway across the globe?
All right, here is another massive pro tip for you. Leading manufacturers are already using trusted international brands for their critical components. Think Stryker stretchers or Wyman ventilators. So local servicing for those is usually pretty straightforward. However, for the domestic Chinese components, you should always negotiate a 2% spare parts package right into your initial request for quotation. Getting a cache of proprietary filters, sensors, and electrical relays shipped with the vehicles, honestly, it will save you from devastating downtime later on.
And our final, perhaps most crucial compliance question. Do these vehicles actually meet EN 1789 European safety and crash test standards?
Yes, the top tiers absolutely do. Models from JMC Ford and SIC Maxis are specifically designed to meet those rigorous European crash test and medical cabinet safety standards. But, and this is a big but, you must always verify. Which leaves us with this final thought for you to ponder today. As you evaluate these incredible technological leaps in the market, are you actively demanding to see the specific, certified technical test reports before you sign your next procurement contract? Remember, don't just trust the brochure. Demand the data. Thanks for joining us for this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.